My name is Leah, and this is my story. I met my husband when I was 15 and a cheerleader. He was older, and he owned the gym my school rented for their athletics programs. It was a great deal as we got unrestricted access and weekly personal training sessions paid for by the school district. I didn't notice it at the time, but over the years, I found that all of my personal training sessions were with the same instructor. His name was Tony, and he was so nice, funny, and he always made me feel safe and respected. When I was 17, we started dating in secret. My dad would have killed Tony if he ever knew, but I just felt that I had found the love of my life. We talked about our future and planned our life together, and by the time I was at college on a cheerleading scholarship, we agreed to try for a baby when I graduated. We got married the week after I graduated, and not long afterwards, I was pregnant. This is where my story takes a turn. One day I was sitting on the sofa trying to relax. Unfortunately, my pregnancy was sapping all of my energy, and I was constantly feeling tired. That was when Tony came home from work, and as soon as he saw me, he looked me over and sneered.
When was the last time you were in the gym, Leah?
He looked at me with disgust, and I felt my face flush with shame. Well, having children makes it hard to get out of the house, let alone into a gym.
Remember what I always say?
Excuses are for losers. But Tony, I'm pregnant. I can't go into the gym.
Well, when he's born, you're getting back into shape.
I was so ashamed of my body. After having my daughter, the weight seemed to pile on. And later, when I was pregnant with my son, it only got worse. I had my second baby, and I weighed almost double what I weighed when we got married. One evening, when I was cleaning up after dinner and then getting the babies ready for bed, Tony came and leaned on the nursery door frame to look at me.
Aren't you repulsed by yourself?
Please, not now, Tony. I need to get the kids to sleep, and then I need to put the laundry away. Maybe if you took some time to help me out, I'd have time to work out.
You're blaming me for your weight, as if it's nothing to do with the fact that you stuff your face with cakes regularly.
I ran away crying. He was so mean, and he never helped. The next day, I left a note saying that I would be at the gym, and I left the house before Tony woke up, taking his key for the gym with me, and let myself into the gym. I got on the treadmill and started to walk, all the while thinking about what my life had become since those preppy days of high school cheer and secret romances. I was overweight, and I knew that I looked nothing like I had when I was a teenager. I also knew that I was limited, I had no time, and my body had changed. Tony's personality was changing as fast as my body was. He used to be so supportive and fun, but now he just seemed to want to judge me and make me feel bad. I needed his support, not his derision, and yet I think he'd lost the ability to see me as a person. And worse, despite his promises to be involved in raising our children, he'd barely lifted a finger. Suddenly the lights came on, and the door flew open as Tony came in with the babies crying in a stroller.
What are you doing?
I left you a note.
I care about the damn note. You left me with the babies. They've been crying all morning.
Got off the treadmill and went over to my children. You didn't even change them.
That's because that's your job.
You promised that you'd take up some of the responsibilities of raising our children.
And now I run the gym, and a good thing one of us is working, since you eat through my entire paycheck.
Glaring at him, I grabbed the babies and left. As I drove home, I cried heavily, as I thought about how awful my life had become. In the afternoon, before Tony was due home, I took the children to a cafe nearby and ordered a health drink. There was a nice man behind the counter. He introduced himself as Paul.
Gosh, your babies are so cute. How old are they?
The girl is 1 year old, and the boy is 2 months old.
Wow, 2 babies so close to each other. Women's bodies are such powerhouses.
Thanks. My husband doesn't think so. He thinks I've just gotten so lazy. I used to be a cheerleader, can you believe it?
With a smile like that? Absolutely.
When I went home, I couldn't help but think about what Paul had said. He's so right, my body is a powerhouse. I grew 2 children and then gave birth to them, and then my body continued to feed them. So what if he doesn't like what I look like now? I made 2 children for our family. Tony came home later that night, well after our usual dinner time. But being a good wife, I put a plate in the fridge for him. When he retrieved it from the fridge, he looked at the salad in disgust.
What is this?
It's a chicken salad.
I know what it is. I mean, why is this what you made for me?
I just thought, It would have meant more work for me to create 2 different meals.
So, I have to suffer from your laziness once more. Great.
He threw the dinner, plate and all, into the trash and walked away. The next day, I took the children for a walk around the park. If I wasn't able to take a break to go to the gym, then I knew I had to find the time myself. After the walk, we went back to the cafe and Paul was there again.
Lovely day for a walk, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to get more active and out there. My husband won't let me use the gym and he won't watch the children, so I have to find time like this.
I'm sorry to hear that your husband isn't helping, but good for you, getting out there and taking matters into your own hands.
I was intoxicated by his support. I felt pathetic at home, but in Paul's coffee shop, I felt worthwhile. Suddenly I felt a bit guilty. It wasn't like I was cheating on my husband, but I definitely felt a stronger connection to Paul than I did to Tony. But surely there was no harm in having casual conversations with him, and yet I felt bad. When I went home, I put the babies down for a nap and cleaned the house, only to be greeted by my husband with more offensive words.
Is there food for dinner today, or did you eat everything? If it's so hard to make 2 different types of meals, then perhaps you should just make what I want to eat. You could miss a few meals if you really want to try and lose some of that weight.
There's a steak and potatoes in the oven.
Good. Maybe someday soon, I'll have my wife back, rather than the cow that you've become. Wouldn't that be nice?
He didn't stop making comments like this over the next few months. I would do whatever could to get some time to exercise, and then he would disparage my every move. His comments were wearing on me and making me feel depressed. However, I began to see results, and I started losing weight. Seeing this motivated me to keep walking every day, and I took a light lunch at the cafe where Paul worked, and soon, my hard efforts were paying off. One day, I went to the cafe wearing a new jogging outfit that really complemented my new and improved body. Usually going there made me happy, but I was upset when I noticed that Paul seemed agitated. Are you okay?
Yes. No. Not really.
I was worried. Paul had been so happy before, and now seeing him so serious and downtrodden had me anxious. He stepped out from behind the counter and came over to sit at my table. My son started to fuss, so he picked him up and calmed him down. He was such a natural with children.
I don't think your husband is good for you. I think he's not appreciating what you look like, only how you used to look.
I knew that he was right, and that I had been so focused on just making it through every day that I had lost track of the fact that I deserved to be happy. Suddenly, an idea came to me, and I thanked Paul for his concern and then headed home. As soon as Tony came home, I set up my phone to record us in a hidden place and waited for Tony to come into the room. Tony, we need to talk.
I don't care what you want to talk about. Did you make something good for dinner? Or did you just eat all of it like the fat cow that you are?
Paul, I need you to listen right now. I'm done. I refuse to let you keep treating me like this. I deserve better, and it's unhealthy for our children to be exposed to this abuse.
So you think you're going to leave me? There isn't a man alive that would look at you and be interested. Since having children, you've become ugly and fat. No one will want you. So if you want a divorce, then you can have it.
Tony suddenly pushed me to the ground and then left the room laughing. I wasn't actually hurt, but I was frightened, and so I got up, grabbed my phone, and then grabbed my babies and left. I knew that I wasn't going home that night, and so I booked at a room at a hotel. Once there, I posted the video of Tony pushing me to the ground. Just as I suspected, within a few hours the video went viral. The next day, I contacted a lawyer and started the divorce proceedings. Once the paperwork was underway, Tony called me and tried to beg me to take the video down, and that he promised that he would change.
Please, Leah, you need to take that video down. My customers are beginning to cancel their memberships. My business is dying. Please, Leah.
Why would I? It barely reveals just how awful of a person you really are.
I promise you that I can change. I'll go to therapy and I'll help out more around the house. Please, I know I can change.
No, Tony, I'm done. You've used up any more chances from me. I don't know who you are, but I do know that I want nothing to do with you. I deserve better. I hung up the phone on him and blocked his number. A few weeks later, our divorce was finalized, and the judge ruled entirely in my favor. The video that I put out onto social media helped my case, and the judge awarded me full custody of the children, the house, and over $50,000 in alimony. I was so happy to finally be free from Tony's abuse and without his negative influence in my life. I kept to my routine and began to work out more and more. The alimony money helped, as it allowed me to hire a nanny to help watch the children while I looked for a job and worked out. However, that money would run out, and so I started looking for a job, and as luck would have it, Paul offered me a job working at his cafe. That job allowed our friendship to grow more and more as we spent more time together. But eventually that friendship blossomed into romance. And not long after that, Paul moved in with me and my children, and we got engaged. I was so happy, as I finally had the partner that I deserved. Paul loved, respected, and supported me, and he even helped out around the house. He was the perfect husband. As for Tony, the video I posted online caused him to keep losing business until he was finally forced to close his gym. Without a source of income, I heard that he had become homeless. I wanted to feel bad for him, but then I remembered how terribly he had treated me, and I then realized that he would have probably treated our children the same way, and I knew that I had made the best choice, not only for me, but for them as well. Thanks for watching.